Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another season of Brothers with Voices. I know it's been a long time, guys. It's been a very, very long time, and a lot of things can happen when people spend a lot of time away from each other. But we're back nonetheless.
All right. Okay, Mr.
We are
Muga.
back nonetheless.
We see
I'm
you.
joined as usual by my brothers. I've got Dutch and I've got Kudzi. Guys, how you doing? It's been a minute, guys. Murbo.
Dada. We all right, bro. Like 2021, brand new year. The break was necessary, man.
Yeah.
Vamwe vakabudane maring isitakangobudoti zvatiri. Eh, no, Chris,
Wow.
how has it been for you, bro?
Well, firstly, I'm just taking offense to your behavior right now. Withdraw Delela. but
Which one?
takabuda tisina maringa mdara tichabudawo nawo one day mdara tichaitawo maringa pasi ndakapfeka angu futi chichichi pandedoro
Aibve mda.
no
Yeah,
Ndokotara ndakazvimirira hangu ini.
oh thanks
Maringa wakapfeka mheno ndee.
ndekuvhura doro waiziva because unobata doro so handizikobva daiwo zvinobva ravhurikaona. But anyways, no, overall, like, I mean, as Kudzi said, it has been a roller coaster. I've had a
Yeah.
very difficult, if that's the word. What's the word that comes after difficult? I don't know, but
Extremely difficult.
excruciating.
excruciatingly painful 5 months. But I mean, God keeps blessing, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be standing after all that, after all that all those troubles. But yeah, I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad that you still want me on your show, guys, and I'm glad to be here.
On our show.
On your yeah, Agogava Muga. There Agoga show.
Ewa. Sababa muri.
Mhm.
Oh
Vamuka.
man, it really does feel good to be back, guys. I think what Chanchareba, guys, Chanchareba. And you know, a lot of things can happen. This is when you realize that a lot of things can happen in a very, very short time, eh?
Yeah.
Like too much can happen in a short time. But yeah, it's been yeah, so for those who don't know, yeah, I got married.
Congrats,
I
bro.
remember season one. Thank you, Chief. Season one, remember when I said we started this thing, I was like, "Anongondi nyemwerera chete ndimukanda pa kitchen." Remember that? It was not a
Wakanyengerera.
threat. Akandinyemwerera kitchen. God.
Apa kune full stop inomona ngoya kune full stop ka kune vema full stop.
Hey, mama. Damn straight, damn straight. So, in light of these recent developments, I just thought, you know what, guys, it would be really nice to get an understanding of what you guys think about this thing that I've jumped into. Monogamy, each. One man, one woman. I just thought, you know what, it wouldn't be a bad topic to just jump into straight out the bat. You know, Tombo not checking out to me and say. So, first question, gentlemen, I want to ask: do you guys know, like, in your understanding, where did this idea of monogamy come from? Where did it come from, Kuti? You know, one man, one woman, till death do us part. Chakapa kupi.
I mean, not zvakabva kupi because culture yedu inotaura zvepoligamy.
Ndosaka ndiri kubvunza kuti chakabva kupi. Where did it come from? Like, okay, honestly speaking, just where did it come from? Why is that what society says is the standard? Where did it come from?
As you said from the get-go, man, society really pretty much determined that being a one man, one woman type of relationship, or one woman, one man type of relationship is the key to, I mean, I guess success or whatever it is that they need. But I've realized that the key reason I believe is of people actually getting that one person is actually to focus on one thing at a time. So I'm funny as I remember when we were kids. Tengora machiudzana usatananze tsuro mbiri uda kunwa uda kuenda kuchikoro uda kuenda kuclub uda kuenda out with my friends ako usatananze tsuro dzese idzidzi, focus on one thing. So I believe that at the end of the day it became such a scenario that, you know, it became about focusing on that one woman, right? I might be wrong, of course, but I believe that
That's your
then
feeling.
that that's what I think, right? So once you have one woman, you're able to focus on your career, you're able to focus on, you know, your life, your social life, or whatever the case may be, without compromising certain aspects of your life. For example, your health, right, which is very important. I mean, having
Yeah.
multiple partners can lead to bad health things. For example, STDs, HIV, and all that stuff, right? So at the end of
COVID,
the day,
since we just,
I guess COVID is there. I mean, hey, cool. But yeah, that's my preliminary thought because I know we're gonna dive deeper into it.
oh
But
yeah, of course, of course.
starting off, that's what I want to go with right now. I think
All right,
it
Kuzi.
was just a key. It was a way to just focus on one thing rather than gutanansa tsuro dzakawanda wanda.
All right, bro. Kuzi, what do you think, bro? Where did this come from? Why are we where we are right now? How did we even get here?
Um, mine is a really crazy one. It's a really crazy one. I just need to divert from what Chris said. So I'll probably say, hypothetically speaking, amungofungo ero ludaraba nemanga madhara angaine aitora kana mabibi heavy 7 mudara. Heavy 7 mudara.
Dude
Exactly.
is a clown.
Kana musina selection.
Exactly. Oh
Kana
man.
musina selection. So I think we
Was
had
this?
to
Yep.
balance it out at some point. And
Okay.
I think monogamy. I think it's is it not a Greek word? I think for marriage or mono or something. I think I read somewhere where it was something that chakanzi chizo introduce a marriage yekuti iwewe unge uchidane munhu wani chete.
Yeah.
And I think in our culture chakauyeonewa pambe pfumi because I think back in the day it wasn't really an issue. Polygamy was an issue, wasn't an issue back in the day because vanhu vaifa vakawanda, varume vaifa vakawanda. So that's what I read somewhere else. Kuti varume vaifa vakawanda, they would take a lot of risk, vakadzi vaigara
Nehunzo,
padeni.
nechichichi.
So you would find my numbers, manje akabva aita sei?
Yeah.
Evarume akabva adzikira, evakadzi vakaita sei? Akangokura. But
Yeah.
that's just how it was. That's just how it was.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. Funny you actually mentioned the issue here, Kuti. It was because madara itora kana 7 my baby. Achinde osarane kana 1 kana 9 wise. I was reading. There was a research yakaitwa from Science Illustrated. I don't know if you guys know that. These Science Illustrated guys. They were saying there was a debate where scientists were predicting that the the process of monogamy began when the lower ranking males started using the alternative strategies to woo my females. So it was because, like back in the day, can only zapu. You got a big ass calf muscle, and you're a big buff guy. This is the guy who all the women want, and there was no limit to the number of women you could have. So
Yeah.
when these guys were born without, because that was the mark of a man back in the day, 10,000 years ago, whatever, when it started. So it was a way of, leveling the playing field, where they're now the lower guys, the gatherers who couldn't be hunters, were now macking on the girls using their charm, using their emotions, stuff like that. And that's how monogamy then started, because they're like, no, no, you stick with me, and I'll just be with you by tiri tu chete. That's one way of looking at it. But so
Okay.
that's I guess in monogamy in a nutshell is just one man, one woman, and mushingo fambidzana makadaro, going at it, just the two of you. So I wanted to
One
ask
party
now,
system.
one party system. Yes, exactly, exactly. So
Okay. Okay.
what,
Wait, but see,
yeah, yeah.
when we get time, I would like to actually read an excerpt from but it's actually a quote. So just remind me later on in the episode to read that to you. I think it's actually very
Okay, who
powerful.
from?
Let me double check. Let me double check who from and who read
Okay,
it.
okay, okay. When I'm reading my
Her
quote,
name
I'll
is
ask you,
Esther.
please.
Her name is Esther Villa. In a
Okay,
book called "The Manipulated Man." So just remind me as we go through.
okay.
I would like to
Actually,
actually
yes,
talk
I'm
about
gonna
it.
get to that because I
All right.
I read a few chapters of that book as well when I was preparing
Mm,
for this episode.
mm,
Interesting,
mm, mm.
interesting read. All right, so when you're looking at it, right? So I wanted to ask you guys in terms of um, what is the difference between the reality of monogamy and the expectation of society to monogamy? This is where I wanted us to try and put, for the people who are watching, to try and put a line in between it, so we can understand what is the thing on the ground and what are we expected to be doing in society. So let me give you an example. Have you guys watched the movie 300?
Sparta.
Oh, exactly. So in that movie, right, at age 7, the expectation for every boy was that they would be stripped from their parents and be taken to training. right? Remember when Leonidas went into the wilderness and came back as king, that whole thing. So the expectation in 300 was that every boy, regardless of your physique, everything, whatever your mentality, at age 7, you are taken away from your parents and you start training to be a warrior and you're shown how to live the life. That is the expectation, right?
Yeah.
In the other sense of things, we're now looking at the reality of it. How many of these kids were able to come back home? How many of them died in the wilderness? Do you get what I'm saying? The reality of it is that not all those boys wanted to be taken away from their parents so that they could go to this training, this intense training. So my question now is, in terms of monogamy, do you think most men want to be monogamous? Is it a realistic expectation to put onto men? That's my question to you guys.
Quincy, you want to go first?
I don't see it as an expectation. I see it as a rule, bro. It's a rule, bro. Monogamy is a rule. And the way I see it, it's not an expectation. If it was an expectation, it's a rule. So then the problem that we have between monogamy and people that want it or not is we mix monogamy and love, right? Monogamy was created tonight, which is Shifambi 1-1. What is it? As Nambonzi Chashanda.
Okay.
No one ever said it was going to work, right? No one ever said it was going to work. It was like, okay, 1-1, one woman, one man. So now,
let's see how it goes.
This is what I would say. Let's separate love from monogamy. Love is a feeling. Monogamy is a rule.
Okay.
What actually doesn't make it work?
Love is a feeling, but I disagree with you saying love is a feeling because in the anima lessons. Anyway,
okay, no. We're not debating with you.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about love, we can make it a whole topic, guys. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that rabbit hole. No.
Let's not go down that.
No. I pass.
You really get into it, like when you're saying monogamy is not an expectation; it's a rule. I mean, so we can't break this rule, and it doesn't matter how you feel about it.
But it's the law in a lot of countries that you can only have one wife. If you want another wife, you have to you have to leave the other one and then marry another one. You can't. It's a rule.
Okay.
It's a rule.
Okay, I mean, it's not a rule where I come from. I can have many wives if I want.
That's what I want.
The chapter that I signed does not allow it, but
that's the angle.
The rule.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, all right.
That is the rule.
Who's talking about rules, man? You're talking about rules, bro.
I understand.
You signed it, so
I'm with you.
And that was my next point, right? Like at some point, people make this rule, a legal contract, which is marriage.
Okay.
So it starts off with dating one person, and then you make the decision to make it a marriage, right? But then what actually doesn't make it work is the fact that the love is compromised, because imemi muno vanu, one of our bada needs are love and monogamy. So what happens is monogamy ine loopholes zakawanda, right? If you say one woman, one man, and that person is likely to cheat. When that person cheats, that leads to a divorce. That monogamy is broken.
Okay.
That's what I say. So it's a very tricky situation from it being a rule and then having those kind of things like, dude, 40-50% of the marriages these days are leading to a divorce, right? Machuza kuita monogamy yacho, and then oziya kuti munhu wangu wacho haatoiti. One of the two people maybe doesn't want. 25 to 60% of the people are likely to cheat in their relationship. So
what I'm saying is, which is literally what my question is coming back to, is do you think, I can only talk, we're men here, the three of us are dudes, you can't talk about the ladies' perspective as well, but I'm saying from our perspective, from your thinking, from your interactions with other dudes out there, is do you think this is what most men want, or is it, and do you think it's something that's realistic for them to do? Is it something once
it's what men can afford, Batsy? It's what men can afford realistically. Not a lot of men can actually afford to get multiple wives, bruv. Right? Let's think about it. My
I like the
problem,
way you've taken it, Touch. I like the way you've
exactly,
taken it. So
it's
telling
about
me
money. If
if we level the
wait,
playing field
yeah.
and everyone's got the same amount of money, men are gonna have multiple partners.
Hey man, the ratio of men to women in the world is what? Can somebody help me out with this? What's the ratio of men to women? Okay,
Hello, Stevie.
okay,
I don't know it.
What
I
is
don't know it right now, but I know that
but
women are
there's
more.
more women than men.
exactly, exactly.
But
There you go.
literally, I don't equate it to men having like
No,
a
come
lot
on,
of.
that's a dumb argument.
Remember,
Let me
boys
speak.
read.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Let me speak intellectually, right? Let me try and speak intellectually. Why the reason
Come on.
I'm putting it down to men not being wealthy enough to handle more women than one is primarily based on our culture. When you think about it, the richer a man was, the more wives he had. Think about it. Back in the day, the chiefs, they were the richest, right? The chiefs were the richest. Then you had the sabukus, they were richer, they had more wives. Constantly, you would hear situations whereby, I mean, even if you read the books right now in history, back in high school, you knew that they would have a wife, like multiple wives. Even right now, when you talk about a culture like Swaziland, where the king was getting a wife every year, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
Mswati, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the wealth to get as many women as he wants, and in their culture, it worked. And same thing with our Shona culture. As long as you can take care of the multiple women, you can get as many women as you want, right? As long as Mawira number menu with the look, we're gonna get my nini na my nini na my nini na my nini, right?
Okay.
That's good. That's gonna
That's
work in
okay.
the family. So it's not a, back to your question, but it's whereby where you're asking Kuti, is it what men want? We can't
Yeah.
put that because people are different. We've got different ideologies of what we want. But our culture, right, is expected to say nowadays have one wife. But back in the day, it was like no, 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 no. You can have as many wives as you want as long as you can afford to maintain, keep them, and do whatever you want to do. That was the
Okay.
deal
Facts.
back in the day.
So it
Facts.
was more of a capability issue. Okay,
It was
good.
really
Go ahead.
around
It's still
because there was
happening
no
now.
love involved. Like what could you
It's
say? There was
still
no love
happening though.
involved. There was no love involved in that. It's about what the other. It's about what the wife could do. For example, let's say with you marry a woman, for
Yeah.
example, that woman can't bear children, right? Kudara zaindi, unopiwa mningina with that woman, right?
Yeah.
Or you could just
Yeah,
decide to
well,
marry another woman and have
yeah.
kids. So there are a lot of factors involved, right? But in terms of this conversation and your particular question, I would say it's not
Yeah.
what men want. Men are very
Okay.
okay with getting multiple wives. But then
Yes. And
society
then
has tabled it that you
it's
need to
now a
get,
rule.
it's now a rule to have one partner. One partner, one
Okay.
but yeah.
One
So
person,
if
one vote.
okay, a follow-up question to what you just said is, and also could what Kuzi was also saying, Kuti, you're looking at a situation where a man will be in a relationship, monogamous, you've signed the papers, 5 years down the line, you're caught cheating with multiple partners. So really,
Mm,
you did not want this monogamy, right? So why did you get into it? First question, right? And secondly, is it fair now, like for you to actually go
bro.
and say, I want to be in this monogamous relationship, sign the papers, commit to it, and fully knowing that you don't want this? Does that make any sense? Or you're just going with the grain? If
But
you don't want, then don't get married.
but
What was the alternative? We were not given a choice.
The
exactly.
alternative is
Somebody made it.
continue to play around.
But
Continue to play
No.
around.
how many
Don't
times
get
have you
married.
signed a contract for a job that you didn't want? How many
Yes.
times have you signed
Never.
a contract for
How
a job?
many
Never.
people did you say I love you to?
Never.
Exactly. How many people have you
you
loved?
said I love you to?
I've loved
Yeah.
many people and it's
Exactly.
been true.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Exactly.
It's
Did you
been
not
true.
love them?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
But it's not just about love because love is not a feeling. It's a
Exactly.
decision.
That's why I separated love
Over
from
a period of
monogamy.
time.
That's why.
Yeah,
No, but
Exactly.
Madzi,
we're not talking about love. We're not talking about love at this moment. Judge,
sir,
Judge, go Judge, go Judge.
sir.
Yes, you
Listen,
in the white shirt.
yes. Listen, sir. Listen kindly. Look, what we're saying is that monogamy, we're not saying, okay, we actually haven't even established if it's a bad thing or a good thing, first of all, right? But the basis and the basis of you getting in a monogamous relationship is actually primarily forced on you and instilled inside you growing up as a kid. What does your father say? Kana kuti mai vako ena unombona maruva enyika but kana wasvika 25 26 27 or 30, let's say 30 because that's our age
That's
group,
where we
right?
all are.
That's where we all are right now. Unenge wakunzisa kuti uri kuroora rini and havasi kuti uri kuroora vangani vari kuti uri kuroora rini, meaning they expect one wife. Muroora wedu havati varoora vedu, muroora wedu. You know what I mean? The society already expects you to have one wife, right? So what do?
Yes.
You have to adhere to what you are right now. If any
That,
one of us,
that's incorrect though. You can't say you have to adhere to something because it's.
that's what the
I
society
remember
demands,
Judge
though.
spoke about this though because I know what you're saying, Kuti. Society is dictating something to a certain extent, but society has got a history of dictating a lot of things that you do not have to conform to.
But if
It's
you
not
don't
something
conform,
you
but
are.
what happens when you don't conform, bro? Don't act like you didn't watch the Hunger
Nothing.
Games. They'll kill you.
I know enough people. How many people are unmarried at 50, 45, between 40 to 50 right now? A lot of
Fair
people aren't
enough.
married because it's a
Not
choice.
not because they want to be unmarried. Some people they're unmarried because they could not be married.
Exactly.
Whatever the
There's a
case may
choice
be.
of I know what you mean though. I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
even let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Before I got married, I remember having a conversation with my wife, and I said, if it went for you, I was okay with not being married.
Brothers with voices batanga kunzi my wife.
My wife,
Hey,
bro. Like,
let's
yay.
move on.
Go away
Let's
from
move
five.
on.
Go away for
Acknowledge it,
5 months and you come back and it's like
just
this
come
all of
back
a
and
sudden.
you just
5 months
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
spring it on
we
us.
get
My
this.
Real
wife.
niggas move in silence. Come on now.
Bro. But do
So,
you know?
this
Do
is
you
what
know
I'm
when we
saying.
did? Do you know when we did a poll on Brothers with Voices about who got married? I actually won that poll.
He won the poll.
I
Yeah,
won
I
that
came
poll.
last. I'm
Yeah,
disappointed.
imagine, bro.
I'm disappointed. Really. As I was saying,
Yes, sir.
I was saying to my wife, it's okay for I was okay with the fact that I can be alone until I die. I'm good. I don't have to get married because I come to the realization that this thing may not be for me because I believe it's a calling. So there's so many people who aren't married and who go into life and continue without getting married. Some will just have kids randomly if they don't believe in this. All you have to have sex if you're married and kids out of wedlock and all that stuff because people have different beliefs. So my point is, it's not necessarily just an issue of you have to
Yeah.
do it because society
Yeah.
says so.
What if what if
Mira that.
what if I know like polygamy. I don't think polygamy in our country was then banned
No, it's
at
fine. You
all.
can do it.
No, it's
So
there.
okay,
You can do
cool.
it.
Fantastic. So what then happened is this. What I wanted to explain. The difference between love and monogamy. Love, how many people have you said I love you to? A lot of people, meaning that you love a lot of people. You cannot only love one person. Can we establish that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot
So
only love one girl.
you don't date everyone you like. You don't marry everyone you love. It's a well-known fact. This is what life is.
No, but can you love more than one person?
Not at the same time because life is not a feeling. It's a choice. It's a decision. You decide to love someone. But don't worry,
Okay,
guys.
let me move on. Okay, let me move on. I think I did my arguments. No, no, married.
I'm not commenting on this one. I'm out of this one. This on YouTube. I'm not commenting on this one.
It's a
Okay,
decision. You
okay,
decide to love
okay.
someone every day.
You decide. So fantastic. Then let's move on to then like marriage was made a rule and stuff. Kanamame say moto charter. Even in our culture, after lobola you do the white wedding and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So after polygamy was made, was was a thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Because monogamy became a thing, and then they put marriage, and then they put it a rule, like you sign a legal contract. Then they don't really want to practice it publicly because now you need to now unsign this one you had with the first one and then sign with the next one. So then you now have the world of small houses, meaning polygamy didn't really stop,
No, it didn't.
right? So kakune ma smalls anodiwa kuseru, 3 or 4 ma smalls. Those are 3 other wives.
These are all the loopholes in monogamy that you're saying.
These are all the loopholes because now we secretly get into it, right? And then this is not something that is as easy. You can just tell your wife that I don't want to get married, or you probably love her and you really want to get married to her, right? I'm not a person to do 3 or 4 wives. I'll probably want one when I get the one, right? But there are certain people that love 3 or 4 other people and they want to take care of them. But because now it's expensive to do that, you can't go and have a white wedding with everyone.
You live one.
You only have one. So that's what's happening with the other sector. I don't like to always talk about myself. I like to talk about other people that are actually doing it. The practical. I know of someone right now who married a second wife. Legally married the second wife.
Yeah, yeah.
But he
Okay,
bad man.
so
He bad
but
man.
I'm saying, so in essence,
Yeah.
Uruguti, so men in general, the general consensus is we want to lock one chick down, but we don't want to be locked down. Is that what we're saying?
Wait, but see, what you're saying now is now boiling down to it's like sort of leaning towards commitment rather than the whole conversation
Monogamy.
of monogamy, right?
Yeah, but among it's a commitment to one person.
But you can
It's
commit
still
to
the same.
several people, no?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what I'm asking. Is that realistic, or are we just trying to live with the expectation? Listen to me. I'm not saying I'm not shunning any other
Gummy.
decision
Yeah,
that
you're
people
not
make,
shunning any other
Any other
gummy.
right?
gummies?
You know,
Polygamy, monogamy,
people can, hey, any other
super
gummy,
gummy. You can gummy if you
whatever
want.
gummy you subscribe to, great. But my point is the one which is mainly pushed forward, this monogamy, this one, is it realistic, right? And are the expectations realistic? Is it more of an expectation or is it realistic? That's what I want to get to the cracks of.
I mean,
Right now, yeah. Chris,
I,
sorry.
I, I mean, but see, look, that. Look, personally, I feel like again, monogamy becomes such a very relative scenario or situation whereby it can work for you and it might not work for Kudzi, right?
Yeah.
I was here, we should design it.
All right, it might work. It might work. Zaramba wena. Zaramba kujanda. Zaramba
No,
kuitiswa.
zikuchikaku expose what. We see you, nigga.
What I'm saying is, before I lose my train of thought, it might work for you, Batsy, and it might not work for Kudzi, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it's about what you want, right? We always say there's freedom of choice. God gave us freedom of choice, right? For those who believe in God, we've got freedom of choice, free will, whatever. If monogamy works for you, that's cool. But then when you talk about it working for you, I mean, look, there are a lot of things that happen in those relationships. And we always hear, as Kudzi was saying, Kudzi, we hear so many cases of divorce, even Varorana, and they're trying to be monogamous. Would that relationship have worked if it was a polygamous relationship? We don't know,
No.
right?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Oh.
So I think it's a relative. It is a very, very relative conversation where if that's what you want and you feel is good for you, man, hey, dude, be monogamous, right?
Okay.
That's what I
I
think,
I'm buying
honestly.
what you're selling. I'm buying what you're selling, Dutch, in the sense
Oof.
that
I'm a salesman,
it
Baba.
should be
It has to be a
it
choice,
should
but
be
in our
it has to be
society
a choice.
now, it's an expectation.
Exactly. You see now.
Yeah, but then
It's
our
an
I'm buying what
society
you're
is so messed
expectation.
saying.
up.
Yeah, but it's so
Yeah.
messed up that we are so looking forward to that expectation. Like we are so
But do you
looking
know? Do you know?
forward to
Yeah.
time young we are not paying second not to say ndikadororwa right now or ndikadorora right now. It's good for me right now because no expectation yacho. We get into
I
it.
Dutch, wait. Dutch, wait. Dutch, I know what you want to do. Pause. Pause. I want to introduce it first. So, speaking to what you're saying, Kuti, I like
Yeah.
where you're going with this because it's going straight into what I wanted to discuss next about the issue of this book that I dabbled into when I was preparing. So I don't know if me and Chris and my apologies and Dutch picked
Thank you.
the same quote. Dutch, I'll let you go first, then I'll get into mine. What's the name of the book and what quote did you get?
Um, the name of my book is called The Manipulated Man. It was written
Okay.
by Esther Vila, right? She's a German writer. She goes on to say, the outrage and hostile criticism from women explains how women, since the earliest of times, have manipulated men and turned them into slaves. They have
Ah,
pretended to be the oppressed sex, while in the real sense, they are the manipulates. In the real sense, they are the manipulates. Hold on. Let me read it. Let me read that part again. They pretend to be the oppressed sex while in the real sense they are the oppressors. She explains how a man manipulates a man skillfully by steps like courtship and finally marriage. Hence
Okay.
the saying,
Okay.
a man chases a woman until she catches him. Right? Let me read on. Right? In her book, she explains how the man is tricked to care for the woman and her offspring all his life. He rolls the stone like Sisyphus and in turn gets rewarded by a few minutes of sexual pleasure. We can by observing Esther. Guys, this is deep.
I pause, pause,
This is
pause.
deep.
Right. I read all that. My question now, based on what Dutch has just read. I mean, I've got a little. I'll add my quote from the book. That's quite literally. It's not exactly the quote that I have, but that's where I wanted to take this. Right. So I know if there's people who've read this book, it's very controversial. It goes deep. This woman, this is another thing about all these social issues. Women tend to not agree on what they want as well. It's like they're contrasting, they don't really agree. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But my quote was simply this, right? How do women manage to instill in men this sense of pride and superiority that inspires them to ever greater achievements? So what I got from that was men are manipulated, and they are the heading of this chapter was the slave's happiness. So in essence, what it's saying is that this whole monogamy thing, we are being manipulated into thinking it's the way to go. I think Kuzi mentioned something like that. That it's one of
Mhm.
those society is telling us that this is the only way you can go, but really, is it the only option that not even just men, but even women, is it the only option that they have? Is that what we should be saying is the narrative? Is monogamy the only thing that people should be aspiring to in the future? Getting married is an
So
achievement.
I would okay. So I don't like the whole getting married is an achievement. I like the fact that monogamy is there now because there are a lot of diseases, right? So we are going through a lot of disease, a lot of STDs and stuff because of that.
Okay.
So
I mean, there's still the
so
same STDs. Like, there's no new one that has come out in the past few years.
In the
But
past,
I
yeah.
okay,
But those ones.
but those ones, right?
Yeah.
Um, 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 I'm quite sure they're new. I mean, especially different regions that you go to and stuff. When
Akunishasiyana.
coronavirus having different variances, it's just the same thing with STDs
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. You're
So
right.
with having multiple partners, it then increases the whole thing of STDs, and then it will probably lead to HIV and then AIDS, and then that's why maybe we had to transition to monogamy. That was one of the reasons I would probably say, right? And
Okay.
I support it for that main reason. But for it to be the only option and for it to become an expectation, then being the only ukatongowana munhu wako then watobo gara naye. Back in the day, bro, it worked. Do you know what our grandmothers would? They probably never loved our grandfathers. Arranged, they were arranged marriages. Some of them
Hey,
were arranged marriage, and they were
true.
taught to live with those people. They were taught to live with those people.
My grandmama loved
my
her
grandmommy loved my
grandfather.
granddaddy, bro. My grandmommy loved my
mine,
granddaddy,
mine
bro.
definitely did too. But I'm taking this from Maya Zuka.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Maya Zuka, Maya Zuka from Nigeria. Like I saw an
that's not even a
interview.
real name, but that movie was so famous. It's
Or
Maya Zuka.
Patience Ozonko from
Yes.
Nigeria
Yeah.
said we were married because we had no choice. We just had to marry. Chero Adenga, whoever comes through, like it was an arranged marriage, and we were to learn to live with those people,
I want to
Yeah.
take over from Kudzi right
which was
real
also
quick.
not fair.
Yeah, of course.
I
For
want to
that
take over
time.
from.
Okay, Dutch, take it up.
Yeah, just I got this part is actually very important for me, because I've got a lot of friends who have gone through this, right? So the first question is it the man who chooses to get married? Number one, right? And then the second part is really what is up with our Zim women when they get between the ages of 25 to 30, sorry, let's say 29, where they say, look, I want to get married. For some reason, from my friends' experiences, I've realized that the pressure these ladies have to get married between that age group, guys, it's ridiculous. Like, I have people telling me, these friends of mine telling me, like, name that. Is this normal? I'm like, I'm that. It's your Muruziana, some bedroom and the because look, what is up with that though?
Yeah, but my point on that, I think this is coming back to slightly coming back to what
And
I was telling
I'm
you
coming from
earlier.
this point where you just said, good in Ngigini, we just had no choice but to marry.
Yeah,
Like
but
these
to have
ladies
a
don't have a
choice.
choice. Because I
That's
feel
the
like
thing.
these
But
women are
when
now so
you're,
educated, they can live by themselves, they can do everything by themselves. What's that pressure all about? You know what I mean?
this is what I'm saying, the achievement factor of marriage is something that we need to remove from it. It's not an achievement to get
So
married.
marriage is
This is the
success
next
to them.
marriage is, in society. I think society really pushes marriage's agenda as the next step, the next achievement, the next you've done well. How many people say
Mm.
congratulations, well done if you get married? It's not a
You
bad
But
thing.
have
they don't
done
say
well.
congratulations to you. They
No,
say congratulations to the wife.
No. To
no.
everyone, I've been getting
You got
congratulations.
congratulated.
Chris
Ah,
Ah,
last
Abota.
okay.
number, last
Shedi
number,
isusu
last number.
takaroora isusu.
Bvunzai
Ah,
sister Carol.
he's got kunzi. He's got kunzi.
Yes, my point on that is not the congratulations part. My point is it is regarded as an achievement, but for me it shouldn't be an achievement. It's the next step in my life. It's the next choice that I've made for my
Mm,
life. It's something that I want to do. It's just like getting a priest decides to become a priest. It's congratulations because it's the next step
word.
in your life. It's not congratulations because you've done something that's amazing, but you've taken the next step. Wakunzi baba.
But it's a
So
good thing, though.
it
I think
is a
it's a
good
good
thing.
thing.
It's
So
a
not
100% a good
so
thing.
not shying
But
away
my
from it
point is,
as a good thing, and it.
Yeah, we're
yes,
not saying
because
it's
you
a bad
achieve.
Yeah,
thing.
It's not.
yeah.
It's not a bad thing. But I think where I wanted to drive to is on the reality and the expectation. It's becoming an expectation and a rule. I feel is a bit much, because in reality, when you make it an expectation, a lot of people start to stray away from it. This is why. Oh, here's a dope thing that I read after my man's DMX passed on. I was just googling the guy.
Oof, bro,
When
don't start. Come on, Chimamira, it's too hurts, bro.
R.I.P. to the dog.
Too hurts, bro. Oh,
Oh man, yeah.
X.
R.I.P. to a
Yo.
real nigga. So I was reading a quote and he was talking about when he broke up with his wife, right? And when him and his wife divorced, he was interviewed and he was like, "My wife knew that's who I was from the beginning. I always screwed the bitches." That's what he was saying. Ex be like, "I always love bitches." That's what X was saying. So and then now she's claiming that he was cheating, but she always knew that's how I was. So this is the type of narrative that I don't want to that we need to kill in our society, because if you know that's how your person is like, why are you going to try and cage them up? Ramba, so refuse this person because they're never going to be faithful to you, but you're going to cry foul when you know
But
how your person.
Madzimai have got an idea of getting that guy and thinking they can change the guy.
No, ain't nobody
So
going to ever
so
change, bro.
they'll probably they like a certain aspect of the guy, right? They just don't like the whole cheating part. They'll probably hope it'll end. Um,
No.
which more like in some cases maybe it might, sometimes it doesn't. But what I'm saying is people that should get into it knowing what they're doing.
Eyes wide open. That's
Because
my point.
if you were getting into an aeroplane,
Airplane.
and the pilot said,
Airplane.
and like in the pilot says, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to aboard, and ladies and gentlemen, there's a 40 to 50% chance that we might crash. Please buckle up. Unoenda here, mtara.
And pin him dig him there.
With the 40%, 50% chance of you getting a divorce, kumberu, unopinda.
How pinned it?
Right, but unopinda.
Let's go 50-50.
This
Wanarukupinda
is
these
this
days.
is my issue now, because this is my issue because it's an expectation. The reality of things is suffering because it's an expectation. I got into this because I wanted to. Other people are getting into it because they're like, I can do whatever I want. Kana zvanetsa, I can divorce. I can find this. I can jump out of this.
Exactly.
This is my point on its reality and expectation. Why don't we have a situation where it's the norm for someone to say, I have a choice to either be a polygamist, to either be single forever, to either be married if I want. Give them the option so that they can choose what they want. We're doing that with so many other things in society. With so many other things in society.
I think
We're giving people options to be whatever they want to be. So why aren't we doing the same thing with monogamy, polygamy, and everything else?
okay. Look, personally, I find this monogamy thing quite, it's weird, but I mean, it's society and it has to be done at the end of the day for personal reasons. People get into these things for personal reasons. And, you know, personally, I believe that
Get a
I would want to
mortgage
be,
together and
I
stuff.
would love to be in a monogamous, thing, marriage and all that stuff. That's what I want. Personally, I don't want to have like multiple wives and all that. That's what I want,
It's a lot of
whatever.
work.
But then when I think about it, right, there's so many aspects that we forget with this, right? For example, have you seen how much even the laws of the world, anywhere in the world, are favored to the woman being married than the man? Look at the divorce. I
How
mean,
so?
I
Give
think
me
I
an
asked this
example.
question, huh?
Give me an example. Yeah, yeah. Look at the
I
divorce.
asked
Yeah.
this question another time. I think last season or the season before, season one or season two. I'm not sure. Where I was like, "Have you
Who
ever
benefits
heard
from the
of a
divorce?
man that is not in Hollywood, where he was getting paid, what do you call this, alimony after a divorce,
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that.
right? Let's think about everything these ladies get post marriage or during marriage. Yes, nowadays we get women that bring in their own things in this marriage. Ariana Tuntuake and all that stuff. Fair enough, that's good on you, man. But all I'm saying is that this whole marriage thing is suited to suit the woman better than the man. What does it say to the man? Be focused, don't cheat, stay with one woman, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it can say the same thing to the woman. Be focused, don't cheat, stay with your man. But at the end of the day, salary
If
ya
she
madam, dear
cheats,
madam. And it is
yeah,
salary ya
yeah.
madam, dear madam. Yako inobadala, inotenga imba, yako inotenga motikari, yako inotenga chakati. I think I tagged you guys on Facebook. Wait. I think I tagged you guys on this Facebook story the other day where this dude is married to his wife. The wife is like, I'm data when I don't earn this much money, right? um the husband is like, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. The husband was taking care of everything, only to find out later that this wife had been actually investing in her own family rather than their family inside. But they're married in a
Yeah,
monogamous
yeah, I
relationship.
remember that.
Do you remember when I tagged you in that?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, when you
And
think
even the
about it,
one where the wife had a flat, and then he was renting where they were living, and he
exactly,
didn't know
he's
that
paying the
she
rent.
she owned the property.
She was yes.
No, that's a
She
different one.
owned.
That's actually a
Yeah,
different
that's a
story.
different one.
That's a
That's a
that's a
different
different one.
story.
This
The
one,
wife owned the property.
this woman actually was running an Uber for her brother, building a house for a sibling, chi, all that stuff. So at the end of the day, when you think about it, everything is not suited for the man to be married. Because at the end of the day, what are you benefiting from being married other than having a woman
But
that's gonna
nothing
give
is
you a
stopping
wife?
the guy from doing the same, Kunzo.
And
Otherwise, I'm
nothing
going
is
to do ya
stopping the
gift man.
guy from not getting married.
Is this brothers with
I'm
voices
That's
or
my
love,
point.
sisters
bro.
with voices?
Inga
What
what
the
you
hell
love
is wrong
one,
with you
but
guys?
I'm love.
That's it. Nothing
I was
stopping the
stop
dude.
being politically
The dude
correct,
doesn't need to get
man.
married. The dude
It was
doesn't
in
need to get
love,
married.
bro. And that's the rule of
I'm
love.
making
Yeah,
a
when you
love,
get
Nyawa,
someone,
love.
you are two, and then you go to the tete. After you go to the tete, and then you get married. That's
Guys,
Yeah,
that's
that
but
that's
story,
the that's the thing, right?
but if you're afraid of it and
you,
all these other things, then
you
just
didn't
don't
hear.
get married.
No,
Or
look, you
find
didn't hear me.
someone who wants
You
you to
didn't
get
you
married
didn't
to
let me
five
ask
people.
my question. You didn't let me finish what I'm trying to say. Could you look
Mm.
at the end
Sorry,
of the
Dutch.
day?
Sorry,
Go for it.
Dutch.
Go for it.
Sorry.
at, at the end of the day, right? My argument is still gonna be the same. Zango Fanana, when I was debating with you guys about Lobola, how much I'm against it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with me right now, where I'm saying, look, let's have an equilibrium. Because I mean, when we talk about monogamy, guys, I know we have covered several sections, but there's one part we haven't figured out. Why monogamy is so fixated on benefiting the woman more than the man, right? I'm gonna stay brothers with voices right now, and I'm gonna stay real about it, right? Could you, let's have these laws equate. Let's talk about equality in this then, right? Let me benefit as much as that woman is going to benefit, right? When it comes to alimony, if I'm not earning as much as that woman, let me get paid alimony. If I'm taking care of the kids, let me get paid that, right?
You wanna get so
Yeah,
uda lobola.
you're gonna say exactly what you said the last time. This is exactly what the nigga said the
Oh
last
my
time.
god.
Alright, cool. Listen.
Oh
I'm
my
Guys,
asking.
god.
I
I'm
get you. I
asking.
get you.
I'm
I
asking
Oh
a
my
think
question.
god.
some of these conversations really don't need a conclusion sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut it off right here. But I think the last thing I'm gonna say is I think as men is women have freedom of speech. They say what they want in any relationship. I think this is why we find ourselves in this situation where monogamy feels or we are saying like it's been forced on the man because women say what they want. Women say what they want. They're not afraid to say,
But
you know,
we
I
were
want you to be
never
with me alone.
we
I
you
want no
know what?
competition with the other girl.
But
Men should learn to say what they want. If you don't
yes.
want
That's
to be
fine.
with one
But see, that's
person,
fine. You're
tell
very
the
right
girl you're
about that.
dating.
But see, you're right about that. We need to
Yeah,
learn to
tell
speak
the girl
up.
you're
That's
dating
all.
that I don't want. Yeah, we need to learn. Don't go with this grain. The second you go with the grain, you could see if you meet a girl, you like her, but you know you cannot be monogamous and she wants monogamy. And you're chilling, they're like, I'll be you and me only. And then you go on to cheat on her and you don't want, and then you're giving all of us a bad rap. That's my issue right now.
You're giving all of
Pick
us a
what you
bad
want.
rap here.
Come on, man. You're making us all
Come on.
look bad. You
Yeah.
know? So that's what I'm saying. So that's my closing remark. Josh, give me your closing remark. I'm giving you 20 seconds, and then
I
you
have a
can
question.
Yeah,
you ask when Josh. Okay, fine. What's your question?
Is a prenup banned in Zim? Is it not something that can be done? That's a choice, right? Like a
you
Yeah,
prenup.
prenup. You
can
decide
I
with
answer
each
So
other
that,
what you
please? Can I answer that?
yes,
You're
yes.
saying,
Yeah.
because you're saying prenup. Don't forget, because the prenup is done by people who actually have shit. And let's just be honest here. It's only
Yeah,
done by
but
people who
someone that
have
should be
shit.
afraid kutorwa zvinhu zvake ka. Whatever that is,
Exactly.
bro. Even if
Donga
you have
nonyora
even
Pause.
prenup
if you have
What are you
ndichirenja.
trying to say about us in Zim?
Ndichiroja mnara ndisina iwe handana chinhu ndoroja.
Ante
Ndonyora
TV.
prenup
you
iyi.
mustn't be scared of the
Ah,
Come on,
divorce.
man.
Judge,
Aiwa.
Judge utijairira, Judge utijairira.
Aiwa, guys. Aiwa. Prenup inonyorwa
Ndine
nemunhu ane
Honda Fit,
something.
ndine Honda Fit mda.
Inongoganhirwa nepakati kahonda fit saka kuti isaganhwe
Aiwa.
kudai.
Zika.
Ai.
Totora front
Prenup
suspension,
ndemunhu ane
totora
something,
rear
oh man.
suspension.
And ndemunhu ane something. Anyways, what I wanted to
These are
say,
rich people problems.
these are not, like, the common man in Zimbabwe does not have these problems about prenups, to be honest. And yes, it is there. You can actually do a prenup in Zim if you want, right? It's there. It's only a
Yeah,
matter
you
of,
can.
do you have enough assets to actually do a prenup? Because your lawyer will sit you down and be like, saka
Okay.
chini iri unoti ticheke nepakati here."
No, I'm bringing it on the point of the divorce later when the lady benefits. So I'm saying whatever that you have, right? Let's say, especially Usina, I think it's even better Usina because Sara Usina, like you are then left with nothing completely, right? So let's say you have a
50%.
divorce and you probably have one house in I don't know, any low density place, or you have a stand or whatever. Write that shit down if you don't want it. If you think it's gonna be unfair, taurirana, because I think as Black people, Tunonyarana, we are shy to tell each other these things, especially when we are conversing and like in a relationship. That's why we talked about finances in relationship, that like in relationships at the time. Let's talk about this thing.
Kana wakanga unoona futi kana wakanga nyaya yefinance and relationships, go and watch again on YouTube.
Episode 1 or episode 2, season 2?
It was on season 2. I think it was episode like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Season 2 episode. Season 2
episode
maybe.
2 or 1.
But just go watch the whole season on YouTube again, season 2.
Yes.
Just go watch all of them.
Just go watch it again.
Them.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Kudzi, I'm with you on that though. I'm with you. I agree with you there.
Guys, it's good to be back, man. We've been a little rusty,
so
but
good to be back. Shake it off. Shake it off. It feels good to be back. Gents, Judge, give me your closing, but it's not going to be about the topic. Do what you do, bro. Do what you do.
All right,
Do what
ladies
you
and
do.
gentlemen, I would like to personally thank you for constantly staying on with us, for constantly following up with us where we at, what we're doing, where the show is at. You guys
Def.
are so appreciated. We keep seeing the likes coming, so we definitely know that you guys are sharing this show constantly everywhere. So I would like to say with season 3, expect bangers of topics. Like these are gonna be bangers. So definitely keep sharing, but just remember, we're now moving more to YouTube. So now let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And don't forget to put that notification button on that YouTube so that you know that when the season comes or that episode come, it's gonna be lit.
We on it.
You're on there. Perfect. Thank you, Judge. So yeah, like Judge said, guys, please subscribe and continue the conversation, guys. Monogamy is something we need to really iron out. I think just make sure you know what you're getting yourselves into. I think that's just what I wanted to say, right? So yeah, from myself, Vamuka, from Dutch, from Kudzi, we out.
Peace out.
Peace.